to eat more pizza, to eat more cake, to do crappier things.
I'd have these people come in and they'd have this lavish car. And
That's insane. What's up, guys? So, I'm here with Eric Gunzenhauser. First off, Gunzenhauser is an amazing last name. I think that's pretty cool. But, we're two entrepreneurs, and I ended up meeting him on Avantage, right?
Yep.
It was on Avantage. Yep. And I figured, why not shoot a video about this, get to know each other a little bit. He gets to know you, you get to know him, and he's going to introduce me to his community as well, because a rising tide brings in all ships. That's what I always say. And the more people you know, the more you can see what works best for you. And so, Eric, what is it you do exactly?
Well, what I do is I've discovered that people on Instagram, I've followed a lot of people just from my personal page when I had one, and I noticed that people they're not willing to post, positive things about others. It's almost like they are so into themselves and what they can get back from it. And I've started following Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And I noticed him on a podcast with Joe Rogan. And I just found I didn't even know Joe Rogan did a podcast, and to have Gary Vee on. And the message that was sent out, this is what changed me to start doing and just stop thinking about it, was he stated, what is a 25-year-old in the middle of college but is still lost? What is the message you have for them, Gary Vee? And he said, they just need to start doing and stop worrying. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing, because people worry about what they think or this person thinks about you, even though that's something they want to pursue.
Yeah.
That's what got me to start my page and to start really looking to help others and try and gain traction with the people and community that I knew through car sales, through being in the restaurant business, and just by knowing everybody in any little industry. So I figured I could really tap into that a little bit more.
Awesome. All right. Well, and I'm a fan of Gary Vee too. He's a man of, he tells you take action. Yeah. He's all about the action and just do it, and how we have more opportunities than we've ever had. I think that's one of the coolest things. And
that's what the biggest message that I really take in from him is that everything's at our fingertips. If you don't know how to do something, you're going to have to put the work in to research it, or you at least have the ability to. Yeah. And I thought that was a good thing to get out there, is that everybody wants to have an option. The ability to choose.
Very true.
And people would get frustrated if that guy's doing the same thing that I'm doing. So what? You want to have competition so you can show that you have to better yourself maybe in this category, or competition is a good thing for you. For others as well. You can learn from it if you actually do socially on social media the things that I think a lot of people aren't doing right now.
Absolutely. Well, I think competition is honestly one of the healthiest things that you can have. So I agree with that 100%. I am not worried about other coaches being better at me than what I do, because there's one thing that I bring to the table that no one else can.
What's that?
Clifford Starks. You know what I mean? Awesome. And that's what it comes down to. I'm going to do things the way that I do things, and I'm going to find the crowd that works best for me. And at the same time, I want others to find the crowd that works best for them.
Right.
So different things work different for different people, but I'm always trying to sharpen my craft. I'm always trying to improve, and I'm always learning. I do my very best to continue to educate myself.
So let me see if it's the same thing as kind of what I'm doing as well. What do you do to better yourself? What are some of the things that you do to sharpen this aspect of your...
Well, one of the biggest things I do is a lot of reading, right? I read pretty consistently, audiobooks on a regular basis. So some of the basics are Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I just finished a book a couple months ago with Dan Lodge.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know him?
So here's a little confession.
Okay.
I've just read, and it's not crazy for me to say this because I've come to terms with it. I've read my first full book 2 months ago.
Really?
Yep.
What was the book?
Cover to cover. It was Gary Vee, and it was his first one that he put out, which was Crushing It. Yes.
Crushing It?
You know?
That was a good read.
He went into such personal detail on personal accounts, and that was something that I haven't. I've seen the accounts, but I haven't seen a big influencer, a real influencer, and that's a big word, a real influencer, because I feel like it's being drowned out by a lot of people who say they are. So to see him back certain people and what their stories were, they were relating to what I was kind of worried about or going through, and it gives you that extra, oh my god, they're just like me.
Yeah. You know what's funny? So in Gary Vee's book, Crushing It, this is the biggest part of it all. So even with what you were talking about of how am I always trying to improve my craft?
Mm-hmm.
See, improving my craft is more than just me. It comes down to the people that I relate to as well.
Okay.
And so in Crushing It, he talks about grinding, and grinding hard. He's no joke. Gary Vee's no joke. And he goes all in. He is a hustler, 100% hustler. And he's also very genuine in the way he does things. And I think that's empowering. That's just really cool that he has that genuineness to him. But the other thing is he talks about do, and then do some more. So the difference between an influencer who's made it and an influencer who hasn't made it honestly really comes down to the mindset. If you have the mindset, even if you haven't made it yet, you've made it because you know it's here. And so when you know it's here, you're gonna keep acting on it. And you're gonna act on it so much that you're gonna become it anyway. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when.
It's with anything in life that you do, but you might not take it as so relating it back to Instagram or social media. But when was the first time that you learned how to play soccer or do simple tasks in life? You did fail at it. Failure is not a bad thing, and people who think that, they need to change their mindset into well, people who failed in life are entrepreneurs and successful people. If you look at Amazon, if you look at any big company, these people have started 28, 32 years old. They were just regular people. You're a regular person until you get yourself seen, and that takes work, and it requires you to build your craft and being social and finding new ways to get yourself out there.
Yeah, true.
I think the next Brad Pitt is out there, or a better version of Brad Pitt is probably out there, but they're just not being able to get their talents out there, or maybe their actual life is because that does happen. I consistently talk about, especially after graduating from ASU, there's theory and application, and so you have to apply the theories in order to really get a grasp on things. And so you can be taught anything that you want to be taught. You can be taught techniques, you can be taught strategies, but if you don't implement them, you don't know anything. It's the same thing as, it is as simple as riding a bike. I can tell you all the intricate details on how to ride a bike, but until you fall, you're not going to learn how to ride that bike. Right.
And so failure is part of the process. Failing intensely and failing at 100% is part of the process, because you have to put in the energy. And so when you're putting your energy into something and you are learning the process, that is where the payoff comes. And so even as an entrepreneur, yeah, you're gonna fail.
Do you think a lot of people out there, and this goes for you guys as well, so maybe comment on it as well, do you think a lot of people are looking for that instant gratification, that instant payoff, and they're not looking at the possibilities of what it, can pay off in the future, such as?
I think we're designed that way, honestly. I think as human beings, we are designed for instant gratification. I think that's part of the issue.
I think it's great to have. It's a good kind of it's like someone patting you on the back saying good job.
Yeah.
When you do that same exact job and no one actually pats you on the back.
Yeah.
Don't say that you're not. Oh man, did they notice? Was I seen?
Yeah. I'm because I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But I think when people get good and honest with themselves, I think that's where the power comes from. Mm-hmm. But for instant gratification, I think it's in our nature to want that. And with what our society has done, we've also made it an even more of an instant gratification type thing. Like when I look at certain marketers, they market entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And you see them driving with the nice Ferrari, and everything's great, and they're throwing cash all over the place, and they're like, if you just sign up for this, no, it takes work. It absolutely takes work.
And I never understood that when like you're an actual influencer, and that's the kind of content that you end up putting out is that like almost generic, like that's the things that are being posted before my video plays on, and I always want to know who's actually staying to watch this and clicking on those. I always wonder. Don't you know that it's almost like selling out when you're a artist or a musician, and you get called out for selling out to the.
It's tough. It's tough because you'll look at. They wouldn't do it if it didn't work, so it clearly works.
And that's what
it clearly
my
works.
mind because. Next.
Yeah.
Skip that. I want to get to the video I really want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting ready to read another book, actually. It's called All Marketers Lie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called All Marketers Lie. And I'll tell you this right now. As a marketer, I suck. Yeah. I know I do. I'm actually working with a marketing guy. And with what he's telling me, it makes sense. But this is the way I've always kind of read. I want to under-promise and over-deliver. I've always been about under-promising and over-delivering. And as a marketer, you cannot do that because you won't win. And he actually told me, and he told me this best. He goes, Cliff, your skill set is special. Because my whole thing is about transforming people.
I think your voice alone is just a solid... I mean what I say, and and I say it with passion. And, you can hear that, and that's something that just instantly makes you want to tune in.
Yeah. And
understand how you got there and why this is why you say it is, or why you should be following and doing these things.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm opening up. Like I'm trying to open up even more, do more. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to go further. I'm trying to move faster, and. Yeah, speaking with this guy, he's like, Cliff, you have a message that people need to hear. And I tell him I know that. But he goes, if I don't have my marketing right, they're not going to hear it.
Okay.
And that's where I'm just kind of like, all right, well, teach me how to do this. Because I'm not going to just play my same game.
Was that the beginning of where you got started as being that motivational speaker and that person?
No, I actually did this before I even got in contact with this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was already speaking. I've been speaking for a while now. And let me tell you, that's awesome. No, it's just, I didn't know. So I've had several passions. I love doing things. Mm-hmm. So I love challenging. I love expanding myself. As a speaker, it was like, wow, this is my gift. Like I got to see this is my gift because it's me giving them energy and them giving me energy back. We all win in that.
I think that's where, like, I could speak, I could talk for days. It's just in my nature. Mm-hmm. But even doing this, looking at the camera right now, I'm kind of just judging myself like, oh boy, doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
But when I post for someone, or I say, let me get your message heard.
Yeah.
To see their, thank you in their smile or in their reaction when something really good happens, or they get a bigger following or likes.
Yeah.
That's my motivation to do more. That's what I love, and that's what I think I hear from you.
Yeah.
When you're in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that's my next step. I really want to get my message heard in video and see what that reaction is towards me, because I think it's a different audience and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's so empowering to not only, because the message by itself does nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell a person all the steps to do, but the transformation of what they do and the actions that they do take through the words that I use, that's empowering to me.
Right.
It's just like, I've had a couple people lose weight or just change their frame of thinking, and in months, like, it doesn't even take that long. In 2 to 3 months, they look like a completely different person or act completely different.
Well, isn't that the easy? I'm not saying that that's the reason, but
Yeah.
isn't that the most? Isn't that the point where you lose the most weight, or can fluctuate
2
the
to 3
most in
months
the
at the first.
beginning?
So the first month is usually the fastest.
Okay.
Right? The first month they lose it pretty quickly, and then the second month things can start slowing down. My biggest thing though is when you can transform that mindset. Once you transform the mindset, it's over. That person becomes a different person. It goes as far as this, right? When we're looking at mindset stuff, you take an individual, right, who doesn't believe in themselves, who thinks they're incapable. So they do incapable things. They have incapable actions. They surround themselves with the wrong people. And then you change that mindset. You just have a complete shift. Everything about them changes, to the point the people they'll actually surround themselves with changes. They'll have different standards for themselves, and hold other people to have different standards around them.
I'm not gonna lie, I run into these people all the time. And at first in the car business, I was called the natural. I was just natural with how the process works.
Yeah.
And then it became a time where, like, I came in so high that my ego and my, you telling me to change or do this or do that differently, I took it as, stop. I mean, come on, everything's working.
Yeah.
And then that person that you're talking about right now, who didn't have that, that, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? The know-how or the abilities in themselves to, take action on it. Those are the people that ended up passing me, because they were able to change their mindset and take in what was being given to them by, our managers, or by their following, aka the customers they would have.
I respect to that one. Give me a handshake on that, because that's what a lot of people miss too, is the second you just start allowing things to come in and knowing when to take certain things and when to discard certain things. It's not to say that you shouldn't discard certain things, but it is to say you can take anything in and decide if it's good or bad.
Right.
And that's kind of the process that those forward runners, those people who constantly move and constantly, like, wow, they're growing, they got something. They'll take everything in, and then they'll figure it out, and they'll process it, and they'll use it to their advantage instead of as a disadvantage, or being completely closed off and saying, I'm not taking anything in. I know it. I got it.
So let me ask you, what would you rather have out there? The person who is, I guess, in selling any product out there. Someone who sells an average of 12 items in a week, constantly. Or that person who's never done it before and is looking to get into that field. What person would you, as a business owner, hire first?
Interesting. I would definitely have to interview them both. I want to know certain things. There's certain things that are important to me. One of the most important things is character. So if the person who's selling 12 a week on a regular basis and their character's not within what my vision is, I'm not taking it. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Now, if the other person's has the character that I'm envisioning and they're coachable, yeah, I'll take my shot.
And I think admitting to whether or not you're coachable, because everyone will say they are.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the first instinct, because you know the things you're supposed to say in an interview or to make yourself look better. But are you really that type of person?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for a lot of people to do and to be successful, and is admitting who they are as a person.
Yeah.
And
it's
hard to do, but once you do it, you realize when you look back on something, you're like, wow, how did I not notice this before?
Yeah. Well, we can even go back to Gary Vee. You know, he can fire people quickly. Like, that's one thing that I have heard about him doing. Yeah, he'll hire, and I think he actually hired and fired one guy on the same day.
Now, I've learned from him to just, people, you would always say, message the person that you inspire to be.
Yeah.
Message them and ask them to work for free.
Yeah.
And I love that, because that's where the value. You want to take a $10 an hour job because it's the money and it's coming in each week, or do you want to work for free for 2 weeks for someone that, if you're hired at the end of this, you are made.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people just want,
yeah.
and they don't want to build towards what could possibly be. You know, and I think some people choose the wrong path or the wrong road.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Gets into that safe, play it safe or go after it.
We kind of get taught about want, and it really comes down to, like, I think it's getting better for starters. I do have a belief that if you give 100% to somebody, like you give 100%, the odds of them giving 100% back to you dramatically increases. It takes some time, right? It takes a little bit of time, but it can get there. That's the one thing I do with my clients. The people that I work with, I'm going to give them 100%.
Do you expect a certain level back from them when you do these things?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but not right away. Because
you keep that within yourself, because that's something that I'm just trying to struggle with.
Yeah.
I tell people, hey, I have zero expectations from you.
Yeah.
After you give me your content and I'm starting to share it. Even though, deep down inside, when I don't see them going through the likes that I get for them and reaching out to those people who liked it, they're liking my post, but they're liking their content.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you, for me, and I'm just sitting there thinking,
Life should be about win-wins. Life should definitely be about creating win-win situations. So my biggest thing is I go all in on people. Like, I'm going to give 100%. But if I have a person who's giving me 50% and then they're consistently giving me 50%, that doesn't work for me. That's not the kind of relationship that I want. But I do also know that it will take time for people to give 100%. And I do my best to understand the person that I'm dealing with and working with, and where they come from and why they do what they do. Most of the people that I work with are amazing. Even like my YouTube community, I love these people. I really do.
Like, they're looking to get you, as a motivational speaker, which means that they're already either in that mindset or committed to the fact that they're not there just yet.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
Are you ever looking for people and then contacting them for what you do and your voice, and then them being like, all right, well, let's meet up and see what this is all about?
Usually I can actually sell just walking out to the park, to be honest with you, because they can hear the passion that I have. And so, as a sales individual, it's not that hard to do.
Like,
because
when you called me, I mean, I was a little hesitant. I'm like, okay, here we go. Just got off of work. I was just like, I was a little nervous. But then when you just start talking with like such, determination on, hey, this is what's in my mind is going to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to commit to this. Like,
You
there's
know,
no reason not to.
And I'll tell you, like, I love people. I really do. Because I know the power everybody has. Like, I really do. And I even in my message, when I tell people my message, I love the spirit of the individual. So I'm always going to look past the weakness of an individual. And here's the craziest thing. The shift happens with knowing that they have it in them. Like, just knowing that they have it in them. You'll see people actually perk up and be like, I am special. I can do something. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely you can. And you're like, you don't have to be a liar, a cheat. You don't have to hurt people. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't have to break yourself down. You don't have to hurt yourself. You don't have to negatively break yourself. And you can build. You can grow. You can be great. But you got to test yourself. And that's another, like, life is about tests. That's it.
So you bring this up, and it just started me thinking that, you know, you get to deal with people's personal lives, changing them, right? And my brand is to change their brand and who they are socially. It's not, and that's not really them, right?
Yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, that's how they're perceived, or like how they want to be known as. Like, you know, because I have, to be honest with you, I have 3 different types of personalities set up for each platform or each, you know, for video making. I gotta be more, I'm more myself. You can see how I'm very New York, always talking with my hands, moving around. But that's my real me. But when I'm posting on social media for people, you know, they just see my, you know, the message and their content, but they don't know who's really behind Join the Stack.
Got you.
And I think that's where, like, I want to bring more people together, you know, seeing who that person is that's behind, you know, posting and the comments and the likes and getting the following. Because everyone thinks it's this person who's a god, you know, or they're just like you, they're just like me, and they started somewhere just like us right now, you know? And people just want to get there. They don't want to, oh, well, you had this many followers, it must be easy. That irks me to no end. I'm like, do you think that they just got there? So they were just given this?
Yeah. Well, the big thing is that there's transition periods that people go through, and the truth of the matter, because I've coached so many people, and you see certain patterns and habits of people. Like, we all have certain patterns and habits. We can only see what's in front of us. Like, it's hard to determine the struggles that a person had to go through.
Right.
And so even with me myself, I was a heavy set kid. I was like 280 pounds. Right? 5'6", and now I'm
pretty big growth spurt.
Yeah. So I'm 5'11" now, and I weigh roughly 200 pounds.
And it's not 200 pounds of that's a fat person, right? An out of shape person. I mean, you gotta see this guy up close and personal. It's a sight to see. I'm like, oh wow.
And so,
a big guy.
So with that, it comes down to, people don't see the past me anymore, though. They can't even fathom it. It doesn't make sense to their head. Even when I show them pictures, they're like, that's not you. And I'm like, yeah, well, I got the picture right here.
Right. They're like, come on.
And so it's hard for people to see that. It's hard for people to understand that. And that's why telling the story of the struggle and explaining it to them. And I think it really does come down to, when you speak, they can understand through your speeches. They can understand from you speaking it. Like, you speak through a place of, wow, they've been there.
And that's where, like, I get a lot of people, you know, motivated with what and how I do things, because I do everything on the fly. And, you know, in my mindset, like, I came up with an idea, I'm like, you know what, let me just post it.
Yeah.
But that's me.
We're kind of doing this on the fly right now.
This is the most professional thing, though. like I'm doing it from my phone at Starbucks or even at the mall while walking.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's such a great idea, and if I don't get it out there, in this form and in this aspect, that I might lose it, and I might lose, the value that I wanted to post out there. So what I've noticed is that like no one else does that. They all look for the lighting, they all look for this or the certain settings, and it's so professional where it almost becomes fake, I feel like. And talking from an aspect of real, and hey, me walking down the street right now with my camera here, and putting out a message that everyone's, oh wow, that's true, it's real.
Yeah,
that's a hard thing for people to grasp.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that. So what I'm getting through is the fake and the real, right? You have to have a little bit of both. And people, I think they like the genuine side, and I think that's what's so cool about the fact that we get to be genuine when we want to be that way. But they also want this image painted. Like you look at a movie trailer, for instance, and it looks amazing. And it's going into that fantasy world. I think fantasy is important too. Like I think you need both.
I love that you just brought this up.
Yeah, I think you need both.
The movie trailer that just came out for the new Joker?
Joker, yes.
Did you watch it?
I did.
It's just every single Joker thing they put out, it hits a new audience of that story. Yeah. And this one, I mean, it looks pretty detailed and in-depth. But then you have people who are like, well, where's all the carnage? Where is he, where's the actual Joker? Yeah. And I think this goes into kind of like when you're building a business. It starts somewhere. And it starts with, how your life is led in that direction, and how you take failures and success and turn it into something that's more, valuable or better for your business. Yeah. Such as, as Gary Vee likes to say, I'm sorry if your parents beat you or something like that, bad thing like that happens. But guess what? We have to move on. We have to, get to that next level. And be yourself, be who you really are. Let's stop making excuses and start doing it.
That's the thing, you cannot make excuses in life. Like you just have to figure out.
And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that being so true and real, like that.
Oh no, do your thing. Do your thing.
People, their parents, do this to them, or they are given a poor lifestyle as opposed to the rich lifestyle. But you know what? In the end, that's probably what shapes them and molds them into a better person.
I'll tell you, as a coach, and I won't get into some of the details, the gory details that I've had to deal with. I've heard some really bad stories. There's bad stories out there. But through darkness, the light still can shine. And so when you go into that realism, I think it's important to have that, to realize, yeah, you can get through this, and you can come out of it stronger than you were before. I had one particular client, and I've been working with her a little over 3 months. Where she's come is insane. Yeah, absolutely insane. Like she's come so far.
You have a post out there with like her first to now, like her.
No, it's not a before and after picture. It was all in here.
Oh, okay.
Just a lot of mental damage that had to be healed, and seeing the process of going through it, and going from, honestly, she was at like a 4 on mindset to a 10, and really taking it, being okay with it, and finding power from it. That's what it comes down to, is you can find power from the scars and the hurt that people have put on you.
It's just so rewarding for you, because you get to see people at that place where they want to change or be better. Absolutely. And you get to, you're the one motivating them to get there. And I think it's such a valuable thing to, to have your voice and your opinion and why it matters. Yeah. And what works and what doesn't work. Yes. Because you've been there. Yeah. I don't think I get to follow my people who become successful or start using certain things to that degree. You know, I think I just get to show them these are the ways.
Yeah.
And then when they find out, they go on their own and, you know, they start doing these things. But that's where I stop. You know?
Yeah.
I might get to see, oh wow, look, you're at 9,000 followers. Remember when you only had 100?
Yeah.
And the things we did?
Yeah.
I'm glad that, you know, you followed this and you followed it to the end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But you get to see their growth every day.
Yes.
The grind every day and what each thing is doing to change them. So that's rewarding them.
I mean, it's really awesome, to be honest with you. Like, what it really comes down to is going all in. And when you go all in on people, they're gonna not only go all in on you, they're gonna start going all in on themselves too. Like, that's the way the energy exchange goes.
What has been like some of your biggest things that you've collabed with or motivated people? And, like you just spoke about the other day, you're with certain people in wine, but like
yeah. You know, so the way I see it is there's light and there's darkness. Either you're shining the light or you're giving out darkness. It's one or the other, right? And my goal is to always shine the light, right? And I do my best to shine as bright as I can. I want to shine as bright as I can. But sometimes people are in such dark places, when you shine too bright, it's too much. And I will actually dim my light down just so that they can see it. Does that make sense?
No, I know where you're going with that.
So it's like I will go in, empathize with an individual, understand that individual, see what that individual's hurt and pain is, and then get them to transform it. That's what I'm about. So I do that as much as I possibly can whenever I'm around anyone, honestly.
And I think that's what I like to do right now is I'm trying to connect with as many brands or values or talents that I can possibly connect with and understand, even if I don't understand, like anime or cosplay even type people, things of that nature. That's not something that I, know anything about. But I'm out here, hour or 2 hours, within my day of Instagram, and I'm teaching myself. And I'm also reaching out to those people to hear, hey, what makes you tick?
Yeah.
Because this is what makes me tick.
Yeah.
And then I hear good things and I hear bad things back. You just got to know what's worth your time and where is that. Is there value to this?
Yeah, that's it.
Creating this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I think we both saw value from what we talked about before.
Yeah, it really does come down to figuring out what works individualistically. Like, what works for that person? Does it work for you? And if it does, then great, let's make it happen. Like, even back to my marketing guy.
I want to know what he's saying.
I'll never be a good marketer. It's not in my blood. I'll be okay at it, and I will even get good at it, but I'll never be great at it. It's not my skill set.
See, I think I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
Just because of my mindset of what I think is great.
Yeah.
So I really, it depends on what you think is success. But then when you meet that person who's actually the real went to school for it, has his own,
gone
big
all
business,
in on marketing,
has 500 employees, and then he tells you, this is, your best work you show him. And he says, well, this is real. What is this? What is that? How do you... Is that a real moment for you? Or is that a, wow, I don't believe his opinion, I'm just going to go somewhere else. Like, what do you do with that?
That's got a lot of variables to it, honestly.
I think that's why I want to hear this marketing story, his opinion, because I think I'm pretty good at what I do and why and how I do it.
Yeah.
Because it's different from other people.
I mean, if you want to, I'll actually talk to him and see if he would like to talk with you, because he's to the point. Like, I get a lot of to the point people.
I just don't want to hear that See, like, here I am already. That, like, I know there's that professional way, and people love that professionalism.
Yeah.
But mine's all about being myself and posting in the ways that I would connect with those people.
Yeah. I think See, this is where it gets interesting, because I don't really like using the term professionalism by itself. There's the right way and the wrong way. There is a wrong way.
Oh, 100%.
And there's a right way to do things. It's like if I have someone come to me and tell me, Cliff, I want to only eat pizza all the time and lose weight. You can actually still do that, but your macros would have to be so unbelievably low that can you sustain that?
Right.
And then you ask them those questions. But the wrong way would be, no, I want to be able to eat 5,000 calories and lose weight. You can't do that. Well, I want to be able to do it. Well, it can't happen. That's wrong.
Well, great that you say this. Then why are so many people, or at least I think that I see, taking social media and turning it into a scroll and like, waiting for people to come to them? It's not social anymore, I feel like. And I
think the really good ones find a way to make it social.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I put out my timeline from what I did on Instagram yesterday, and I went to town all day.
Yeah.
I was impressed with myself and what I did. I was like, you know what, let me get it out there.
Yeah.
And I put the timeline, and as I wrote it, I was like, wow, I do a lot. I do so much, not just that post or that collab like we're here. I go to research hashtags. I find, top posts in those hashtags, and then I comment on those. And then anyone who likes or comments it, and I do it for a week now. Yeah. And I gain more followings. I then go and use Instagram TV to teach myself with Gary Vee, Joe Rogan. I just don't, like, is everyone else doing that? Are you guys doing that in your business or in anything in
Comment
life?
below, let them know.
I need feedback on it, because I'm not getting that engagement when I'm even asking for it.
See, I think so they have entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, they call them. When you're in the process, just off of what we're talking about, and growing and building and putting it together and giving 100% and falling on your ass and getting back up and giving 100% and falling on your ass and getting back up and doing it again. And that's what Gary Vee talks about specifically in Crush It. Like, don't stop, go, move. Yeah. Because in the process, you're learning and you're putting it together. And you're understanding what works and how people tick and this does this and this does this. And you're going to have your own way of doing it, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have Eric's way of doing it. But you're gonna start seeing patterns and systems, and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, well, this works here and this doesn't work so much here. Like my coaching, that's 16 plus years. So I can't go to a person and say, okay, well, when they do this, and when they do that, do that. Like, I can just give them the game plan, and then I tell them, okay, now go and act on it, and figure your way out. And that's the difference between an entrepreneur who they just keep getting back up, and they keep getting back up. But you have to do it intelligently too. There's a smart strategy to this, because you can't be like, oh, I'm $1 million in debt and I bought every coaching program on the planet, and it's just like, no, you have to figure it out. And part of it, I actually made a video on pain, and pain is not just physical pain. There can be emotional pain. There can be monetary pain. Like if you're putting money, letting go of money can be painful, Letting go of time is painful. Letting go of all of these things is painful. But that's where you can either learn and grow, or just be like, oh, it's not worth it, and half step.
I take this definition from Pat Hickey. I'm going to shout him out. Peoria Ford. It's where I started, and I learned about salesmanship and that the abilities I actually had. Yeah. And what he, on every Friday morning meeting, he'd get us in there and he'd be going, if you're at this amount of cars, why are you why do you keep doing the same thing over and over, but you're expecting a different result? Yeah. He's like, that's the definition of insanity. And I was like, it makes so much sense. Like, why? Yeah. But there's so many people who fall into well, this worked before, it's gonna work again, like, right? Yeah. And then they keep doing it, and they're like, well, why am I failing? Yeah. Change your views or adapt to trends or things that are changing with us.
Things are about going big, right? The bigger you go, don't accept being mediocre. And I think some people act in being mediocre. And it's like, you can always get more. You can always do better. My coaching, I have an over 80% when it comes to successfully changing someone. 80%. I can get better. I can always get better. And that's what it comes down to. Some people will be like, oh, well, 80%, that's great. That's above average.
That's a B to me.
Yeah, and that's high. That's extremely high, especially in my type of profession.
Especially when you're changing someone else.
Yeah. It's in my profession because they have to take responsibility too.
Right.
So you got two people who have to take responsibility. But in my mind, I can always get better. And even if, let's say, somehow, some way, I get at 100%.
Right.
Everybody that I touch turns to gold. I still have to maintain. I still have to keep going. I still have to keep driving. I still have to learn. I can't just stop. I can't go, oh, I've made it. No, you don't stop. Never stop.
I think that's something I mentioned with you when we were talking is about the steps I should have took back in the car world and car business. Sold so many people.
Yeah.
And it's not until now. I've been out about 4 years now. I run into people I sold cars to now. And I realized, I'm like, oh my God, for the past 4 years, I had no contact information, no email. You know the amount of things that I could have had in a book or an index file?
Yeah.
And I could have been, when starting this, reaching out to each one of them, letting them know where I'm at and what I'm doing now.
Yeah, that's true.
They see me now and they're like, oh, you're not selling cars now? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You were so wonderful with us and it was such a great experience.
Yeah.
And I love hearing that, but I wasn't happy with how my life was being lived, though. And regardless of my success, I wasn't feeling too successful. In the fact that, all right, well, I get to do this job and I get this money, but I go home, I go to sleep, and I rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever good enough lifestyle. And it wore on me until I was like, time to change.
Yeah, I've always kind of changed really fast and adapted to what I wanted to do and just be like, if I don't like something, I'm getting out of it right away. And I do my best to make sure people do that as well. You know, like I ask them the tough questions. And a happy person is a healthy person. And a happy person is going to drive to try and be successful and look for success, because the success is the chase and the catch. And not even necessarily, maybe some people just don't want to even catch it. But the success is going after something. It's not sitting at home watching Netflix 8 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah, that's not successful. Success is you're happy enough to like live in this body that you have. Live within the mind that you have.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I went to Walmart the other day because I had to get a razor.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to a bar or social outing in over, I don't know, 6 or 7 months now. I keep to myself, and I've found peace within that. And I'm my own entertainment along with what I'm doing as well. And I had someone, I was walking past, they're like, Eric, what are you doing? Oh my God, are you coming in?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I haven't in a while.
Yeah.
And I started looking around and I was like, oh my God, like, what's really going on? Like, people are having fun, I get that. But these are people that are still there 7 months after the fact.
Yeah.
Still doing the same things. And they're still in their life of, like, in that 7 months, they could have been, I don't know, changing who they are and what they do on an everyday basis. But really, they're just sticking to that. I go to work, and then I spend my money at the bar, and I have fun, and then I go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. I'm seeing people there 7 months after the fact, still in that same process. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I woke up found myself.
Yeah.
And I found myself by being alone.
Yeah. I think that's important to have.
When did you find yourself, by the way? Like, when was that aha moment?
Well, I felt a lot of pain and a lot of empowerment at a really young age. My biggest thing was my biological dad. I call him the sperm donor.
Okay.
So he was the first man that I knew, obviously. But he ended up leaving. He left me at a very young age.
Okay.
And it hurt. It was hard. I didn't... As a kid, you feel like you've done something wrong. You know, like you feel, what did I do? Why did Daddy leave? And I had someone come in and take his place. And I call him, like, he's my dad. He's not a stepdad. He is my dad.
Okay.
And he instilled certain qualities in me to always go out and realize that I had control and I had power. And he had me look in the mirror one time, and I was six at the time. I'm a kid.
Wow.
And he goes, everything that happens to you is because you did it. Take responsibility, the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that, and it empowered me. And it empowered me in a way because he did it from a place of love.
Okay.
See, the sperm donor just left. He peaced out. I'm out. No call, no right, no nothing. The other man who gave me responsibility, but gave it to me in a place of love, a place of caring. That's what made it different. And that's where it's like, I can be a man now.
Uh-huh.
At 6. This was at 6. And so everything after that was like, I can do anything.
So really, you found yourself pretty early.
Yeah, very.
And because of a change in a family situation or your personal life, right?
Yeah.
As you're saying this, I'm thinking about mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had mom and dad from day one. Dad goes to work, works for the family. Mom stays at home, 4 boys.
Yeah.
And it was always just, that was the norm. And it stayed that way. Still is that to this day. But I think the difference there is that I was like, all right, well, whatever he says. That there was no changing in ideology from a different person with the same message, you know? My dad always told me, do this, and, you know, have respect for everything that you do and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And when I didn't want to do those things, I would just say, stop, okay, like I'm this age, I just want to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
You know what? Those were the same things I was saying, and I was 21, I was 22, 23. And then you'd see him he was slowly losing touch with giving that message out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, oh wow, he's not even talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I realized there needed to be something to change and to grow up.
Yeah.
So I think things like that, big moments in your life of a different view from someone else, even whether it's a good or bad or why it's happening, I think that's where people can find themselves.
That's true.
AKA, you got fired from the job that you've had for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you think you're lost now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think pain's a part of the process. Mm-hmm. It really is a part of the process. And even my young little son, I don't want him to feel pain. I don't want him to deal with it. But I do know I can love him, right? And I can prepare him for his growing moment. Because everyone's going to have it.
Right.
Like, everyone's going to feel it at a different time, and you never know when your time's going to come. But you can just empower the people that you empower and let them know pain is not necessarily a bad thing. It helps you grow. It's part of the process. It is part of the process of life. And so everybody has to, like, everyone has some sort of pain point somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's like finding that. And that's what's so fun to me, is like hearing people's stories and understanding them.
Well, like mine was when I realized I didn't want to do the car business anymore, and my parents yelling at me, "What do you mean? You're making this? You're successful. You have a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, isn't this what you want or look for?"
Yeah.
But they didn't know the real story behind what my actual lifestyle was because of that. You know, I'd go out and I'd lavishly spend money just to spend because I thought I was so freaking great. And that turned into a lifestyle of bad habits and back into that. I'm 21, going to the bars and drinking.
Yeah.
So when I took a step back and got out, that's when I started being alone more and finding new ways to entertain all the thoughts that go on in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm constantly always thinking or always going over stuff, and you can tell in how I speak.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing for me, and that happened at 28 years old. And which down here, then a success story, then down here, then a success story, but then realizing that I'm not the person I want to be, and I took that all away from myself because I wasn't happy. I am happy now.
Yeah.
Even though I'm struggling in a different light than what I used to be.
Yeah.
Struggling in different aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and my whole thing is, so when we talk about bringing the light and getting rid of the darkness, I'm about happy and chasing success and getting success. The funny thing is, we talk about failure as well. Success doesn't come without failure.
Right.
It's a process. So life essentially is just a big game of dealing with different processes.
Yeah.
And being happy with the set of the processes. So you're moving, success. Then you go find another success. You can't stop. Like that, like
new goals.
Yeah, the spirit has to keep moving. It has to keep growing. It can't just stop. It doesn't say, and this is it.
Right.
And so you're in a process of going through, I'm happy, and now I'm chasing this new success. And you'll get to the new success.
If you stop chasing, you just become.
Oh, you're done.
You hit the plateau.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Yeah, that's a wrap.
And then you're so
then you're
far
not
gone,
even living anymore.
You're still doing that same plateau
Yeah.
for so long that you lost that inspiration to live anymore. I feel like. But
I agree.
You're the one to change that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You're that.
Yeah, it comes down to the individual.
What were the values that you were saying that we as people should be following or doing to find a better percentage of success rates in anything in life?
Well, I have certain principles that I have people go through.
Principles.
And it's, one, you got to think big. And I won't go into detail because these can take a while, but it's about thinking big. It starts with think as big as you can.
I just want to hear an instruction to each kind of like like that. I want to know if I have it. If I have any of these.
Okay. Have a plan. A short-term and a long-term plan. You have to have a plan of strategy. And you have to, it's a SMART plan. I don't know if you know the acronym to that, but it's specific, measurable, obtainable, realistic, and give it a timeline. So it has to be a SMART plan. Then you have to do like intense action. Like you have to act as intensely on the plan that you've set forth. And 4 is have faith. You just have to know things are going to work out some way, somehow. And the 5th one, which my good old dad taught me, take responsibility. You take responsibility, anything can be figured out. You just have to, you might have to tweak, you might have to move a different way, you might have to act a certain way, but you can figure it out one way or another.
I think that's the biggest one that a lot of people probably struggle with. I mean, in my opinion, is taking responsibility for those actions.
Well, the sooner you take responsibility, the easier you can get the other steps going.
Because I can still admit to myself that I know the right things to do in most 95% of the settings that I come across.
Yeah.
But then having that little, I don't know, second, that person in the back of my head saying, "No, go do that." Just, it's not gonna affect you in a bad way again. Or do this, you know.
Yeah.
I still see myself doing those things. Like, I have $20. I don't work the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Eric, you know you don't work the next 2 days. You have $20, but here I am. All right, $20 for this.
Yeah. When we do things
I'll still do those.
correctly, right? So we're talking about long-term thinking. And people have trouble with long-term thinking for a couple reasons. One, they don't realize the leverage behind long-term thinking.
Right.
Like there is leverage to long-term thinking. So if you get your body in shape, for instance, and you get it in really good shape, you have the option to eat more pizza, to eat more cake, to do crappier things.
People think for some reason that like you're not allowed to eat anymore.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that's
that's
what you need
specifically-
that's what fuels us.
Well, that not only that, but you can eat crappier more consistently when you're lean and in shape.
I think there was someone that said that they're like, this guy's he's eating McDonald's Big Macs each day.
Yeah.
He's literally eating them each day, but he was one of the fittest people out there.
Yeah.
And they're like, how is he doing this?
I wouldn't say every day, but yes.
Well, once a week, I think.
Okay,
It was something of that nature.
Okay, I would say every day,
Right.
but it's one of those things you have created leverage. And then we talk about financially, compound interest. That's insane. That can work for you or against you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get it to work for you, you're a happy camper.
I want to say something with that fact of kind of perceptions and realities in the car business. I thought it was the greatest thing to me in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not discussing. I'd have these people come in and they'd have this lavish car and this lavish. Oh, you can't tell me anything. This is who I am, and then we would get to that moment, and I could tell after year one who those people were, and I when we get the credit score.
Yeah.
And you would see they're paying $900 for this Escalade,
Yeah.
and it has 60,000 miles on it, and they still owe 3 years on it.
Yeah.
But they're out there telling you, I own this Escalade. This is the lifestyle I live. But then you see the realness behind it, and you're like, I was always thinking in my head, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
to be that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not cocky. I'm confident.
Yeah.
And I make bad decisions with money as well. But I would see these on the space that I'm giving you guys right now. I'm like, you want to do what?
yeah.
You want 1.9%? Why do you think that should be?
Yeah.
And they just lie to themselves
Yeah.
to promote, I think, a life that they want to live or think they should have lived.
Yeah.
But they didn't do the necessary steps
That's what it comes
to
down
get
to.
there. So they're pretending.
When you get the steps right, and then you play the steps right, and then you create the necessary leverage on the steps that you put. That's what it comes down to. Leverage is powerful. It's one of the most powerful things you can have.
I like when Gary Vee says, "I'd rather be smiling in my smiling in my Camry than crying in my Ferrari."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're out there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. And I wish them the best of luck too. Like that's what it comes down to, is just figuring the mindset out, why they do the things that they do. Because you can find the pattern on why a person's doing what they do. And there is an entrapped and enslaved pattern that some people have.
I think this is a big one that people out there can relate to is who out there actually owns their own phone?
Yeah.
Do you own your own phone?
Yeah.
You don't make no monthly payments to it?
Well, I do make.
And I don't want to get personal like that,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah. So technically, no one really does actually anymore, huh?
well, that's what I'm like. Next month, they're gonna release another phone.
Yeah.
The S10. And what's the first thing that people do? The people
They
that
usually
don't
buy the newest.
The people that don't own the S9
Yeah.
are trading it in for the S10 and accepting bigger payments, and that's based off of what they still owe on the other phone.
Yeah.
You would never carry over negative equity from a car
Oh, that's
onto
true.
another one
Yeah.
and be like, this is a smart decision, and do it year after year after year. And I think I'm seeing a lot with phones, and it blows me away.
Yeah.
This is my phone right here. It does everything that your phone or iPhone does.
Yeah.
But I own it.
Yeah.
I own this. I could throw this like this and not even have to worry
Yeah.
because it's mine. So there's people out there that they're crying when their phone has their crack in it because I still have to pay payments on this, and this is what I have to look at for the rest of my contract.
Yeah.
People are indebted to contracts and to bad decisions that follow them for a long time. And I think at a business standpoint, knowing what those are so that you don't fall into that category like a lot of people are falling into, and having to climb yourself out.
Yeah.
I think that's what people who are younger now, with all these messages and all these videos and all this insight, can take away. Like, hey,
Why is it so blurry? There it goes.
Just start, taking, knowing that, hey, I'm not doing the right things, and just because I'm 21 doesn't mean I should be out at the bar drinking every night, because that's what you were told or lived up to. I can't wait till I'm 21. I'm gonna go to the bar every weekend.
Yeah. No, that is true.
Living for that was another good one.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I say what
Living
it
for
really
the weekend.
what it really comes down to, we just are. I think we both have similar goals in this, and it comes down to people taking responsibility. The sooner they take responsibility on everything that they do and on their life, the sooner they can make the necessary changes, if they want to change it, or maintain what they're already doing.
Well, I think that's what frustrates both of us, probably at an equal level, is that we can probably see the potential in a lot of people, but then when you leave them to their own doing, and they are not doing those same things that they're capable of because they're agreeing or showing you in a training session, then you leave them alone, and they're back to their old ways.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's what frustrates. That's how fun.
I think my biggest thing is, so it kind of frustrated me when I was younger, for sure. Now it comes down to all I can do is give them the options, and then show them how to implement the options.
All right.
If they choose not to implement the options, that's on them.
That's why I have zero expectations.
Yeah, and I go, you know what? I'm gonna love you anyway. These are the options that they want to do.
But I know I also know in the future that, hey, this is the people that I need to look out, and I need to go in more depth and detail on.
Yeah.
Who am I sharing that free content for?
Yeah.
Who's that person?
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to get better at that. And I come across a lot of people with a lot of great stories. But then I'll find those little things little triggers that I'm like, oh, they're not fully committed yet. Or,
there's times people are not ready. Yeah, they're just not ready for it.
And then it would be just I would feel like it would almost be wasted. And then if that starts happening over and over again, that people are going to start noticing that, and it wouldn't be good for my business.
Yeah.
Even though my business, that's a big thing, it's not really a business yet.
Yeah.
Because what is a business? Something that you take profits from, correct? Or sales.
Yes.
Tell me one business out there that's never made a sale but is successful.
I haven't seen
Doesn't
one.
exist. It doesn't exist. You're right.
Yeah.
But is there a business out there that knows they're a startup and they have investors that are investing in potential future and growth that they see, such as Uber, such as Lyft? Those companies are losing millions, billions of dollars, right?
I did not know that.
And Lyft has officially lost 2.6 million, I believe it was.
Wow.
And their stock just became an IPO at the highest level possible.
Yeah.
And you know why that is? It's because they see the investment possibilities and they see the potential in what their brand is. Even though they're losing all this money, they know it's going to come back to them. But a lot of people.
How are you today?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, sir.
It is. It's a great day.
This is why we live in Arizona, right? So I mean, we could go. These are things that we can go on all day about, right? I mean,
it's true.
What's the next step for you? What's something that you're gonna, I don't know, take a gamble on?
So even using the term gamble means to have insane risk. I like calculated risk. Like, I'm all about a calculated risk. And so my biggest thing is with the speaking that I have going on and the coaching that I have going on. And the coolest part of this, so now I'm really getting out there and networking with people.
Right.
I'm meeting so many amazing people through this process. Like, it's really just cool. Like, and they called me the optimistic optimist, because I always...
Is that next level?
Yeah, I'm always like, I find the good and even the worst of things. But let me tell you, now that I've been going out and meeting new people and on my YouTube community, they're great. Like, I love those guys. They're so cool. And networking with all these new interesting faces and new interesting people, and even my marketing guy that I've been working with, he's doing a great job. He's a great marketer. He's phenomenal, and he's teaching me things that I didn't realize. And now I can even take what I do and what I teach to an even bigger level. So now everyone can hear my voice, and everyone can hear the voice and either take action on it or not take action. That's still their choice.
Right.
They get the option to do it. Of course I want everyone to take action, but I can't force people to do anything that they don't want to do.
Right.
I can just let them hear the voice, and either they do it or they don't do it.
I know that you did that. That's what your job is.
Yeah.
Your job is to do just that.
So it's really, I want to just reach as many people as I can. That's what it really comes down to.
Love it.
How about yourself?
I think that's what I'm stepping towards, and I think I set that up for something next week. Is I'm premiering on a podcast with my old manager who left the car business to explore his passion, which I didn't know was radio. And he has all the equipment, all the cool stuff, all the things, and I'm collabing with him. And then the next collaboration that I want to do is what we talked about, and I got to revisit it, is my meeting of the Instaminds. Having people come together like we are right now, and discussing things of their business, but in a big setting, 40 people, and having 3 of those people present to an audience. And then being able to be the one that gets all that together in a successful way is going to be a really big step for me.
Awesome.
And I think one of the biggest steps is, even if there's possibility of big failure, I think this time I need to do it.
All right. I like it, man.
All right. So I think that's something that I could take back from you, is that's motivated me.
Yeah.
You said, even if there's 2 people there, do it and learn out, get the kinks out, right?
Absolutely. That's where you learn the lessons.
Because I don't know anything right now of what that could have been.
Yeah.
All right.
But you're gonna keep moving, right?
But hey, I'm letting you know right now, you're gonna be out the first one.
I like
100%.
I like it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to be at one of your collab. I actually want to come down to one of your next motivational speeches. Possibilities. Is that a?
Well, usually I do the private gigs, but if I do have a public gig, I will definitely let you know.
But am I able to come as a guest to just listen in?
It depends, because
like
I can ask the people that I work with.
I always want to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah. So, because I just did a wine run, I went to. I'm gonna do one at ASU actually this upcoming Wednesday, and my next one's probably sometime next week with the high school. I don't think we can do high school, but if I do a public one, I'll definitely let you know about it.
Please do. I mean, that's just something that I want to be able to put myself into. By learning, and not on social media anymore, or not through Instagram TV, but in the real setting, in the real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. I always do my thumbs up because that's how I roll.
It's a pleasure meeting all you guys, and I hope you like the message that we sent out today. It was just us talking and us just being real. So
just having fun. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.